Can I beat Remnant and all of its DLC in its entirety before Remnant 2 comes out in less than a week?
Welcome to my party. We're just getting...
No, I can't. I didn't make the deadline, as you could see. I mean, Remnant 2's been out for a while now, and quite honestly, now you got Baldur's Gate 3 out. I'm gonna need a drink. Oh. So up until about a couple months ago, people didn't even really know what Remnant was. I mean, it was a pretty small game. I think most of the community was even surprised that it got a sequel. I'm happy that it did. I think a lot of people are happy that it did. But regardless, that didn't stop any time that I brought up Remnant to somebody. I was like, hey, you want to play some Remnant? And they'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Let's play Call of Duty. Most people look at Remnant, and if they do remember the first one, they go, oh, that's Dark Souls with guns. Wrong. It's more like Dark Souls and The Division came together on Tinder, had a baby, bada bing, bada boom.
All this from a slice of gabagool.
I don't know what I'm talking about. So let's answer the first question. What is Remnant? Why do we care about it? What is Remnant from the Ashes? I always forget the second half of the name. Hopefully I got it right. Basically, a bunch of tactical gardeners are going through ripping up roots that are getting all entangled up in the multiverse. So you pick up your gardening tools and head out to the ancient Mayan ruins.
What is that?
The enchanted forest of Lothlorien.
Speak, outsider. Who is it you serve?
Hey everyone, I'm Joe Biden's husband.
The Labyrinth. Florida. Huzzah! Shoot him in his movie. Ow! Fuck you up. Oh, he's coming for me. Oh, Lord, he coming. He hit me with his fucking dick. New York, BC, and New York, AD.
New York is everything they say, and no place I'd rather...
Oh, sorry, I got that backwards. New York, BC.
Oh, call an ambulance! Call an ambulance! New York!
And New York, AD. And you travel through all these multiverses by what I can only describe as being a mixture of the marker from Dead Space and the blue stone from Atlantis. You should play with friends. It goes by a lot faster, which is really important in this game because unfortunately there is a lot of repetitiveness to things. There's a lot of the rooms that are kind of laid out the same, and if you're playing it by yourself, it can get kind of dragged out, kind of like The Division. Not only easier and faster, but also a lot more fun. Now, speaking of fun, one of my favorite things about Remnant when compared to like Soulsborne type games is the upgrade system. Oh my gosh, the upgrade system. So, for Remnant, the upgrade system is extremely simple. There's like 4 things, all right? You've got iron, forged iron, hardened iron, and some kind of luminescent thing for like boss weapons. On top of that, you've got simulacrum, which is used to basically recharge your dragon shards or hearts, whatever it is. The reason I bring that up is in every Soulsborne game, the issue I've always run into is I will find a weapon that I really like early on, and I'll start upgrading that weapon, right? And I'll make it really strong and be able to take out stuff and be really happy with it. And then I'll find a cool new weapon that's at base level stats. And it's cool, and I like the way it plays, but for me to use it now, I have to upgrade it to the level that my current weapon is at. That's better than the old one. But there's a finite amount of resources for one. There's a finite amount of resources. And depending on the Souls game you're playing, you can only even upgrade a weapon to like the max stat like once through a playthrough. So, yeah. Be careful with what you give it to. It's not the problem in Remnant, right? That's what I'm getting at. In Remnant, you get these resources constantly from killing enemies, and it's cool because you have a ton of weapons, you have a ton of armor, and it all pretty much, weapons and armor use the same things to upgrade. So they're constantly giving you all this stuff, so you can upgrade all these things and have different builds and armor sets and all this kind of stuff. It makes the replayability great. Makes it phenomenal. Maybe not for Remnant 1 because that game is done and now we got Remnant 2. But I'm not making a video about Remnant 2 right now. I'm making a video about Remnant 1. So stop complaining. Weapons are sick. Sometimes what you'll see in Souls games when it comes to like weapons is some of them are a little lackluster. The boss weapons in particular. And because of that, it makes you want to replay the game because you want to upgrade these weapons. You want to see what they can do. A lot of the boss weapons in this game have cool effects and are just genuinely cool looking and have a lot of cool aspects to them. Also, you know what's sick is that you can put mods on your guns. There's base level guns, right? And depending on the mod that you put on it, it changes the overall appearance of the gun. I thought that was really sick and really fun. So just like Dark Souls, you can beat a boss, and that boss will give you an item. You take that item to a person, that person will turn it into either a weapon mod, kind of like a spell, or a gun. Either one is really cool in this game. Everything feels like it has a purpose. Everything feels really cool, like it's useful. I had a blast trying out the different stuff. For instance, like there's a gun that you can get from beating one of the bosses that will bring you back to life if you die, and it has a cooldown timer. That's super sick. Yeah. And if you want the coolest weapons in the game, you have to beat the bosses. Not only that, you have to beat the bosses in certain ways, which I didn't know until I was doing research for this video for certain things and happened upon the fact that there's like a ton of secret weapons and mods and ways to beat bosses and interact with things that I didn't know because I was in a rush to make this video, and now I'm going to go back into the game and play more so that I have the video of me getting the weapons because they're cool and I want the shiny thing. Let's talk about the bosses. Off the top of my head, these are the bosses that stand out. And without skipping a beat, I got 4 words for you. Big Bad Bayou Goblin. You got the Demon Monkey. Amothining 2. A Moth to the Grave. Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, yo, fucking Doc Ock.
And Metal Gear Solid turned DMC boss.
You bet your sweet Bippy is gonna turn into a fucking Gundam. A cool looking Gundam.
And rats. I love the naked mole rats. They're really fun.
They're like cool in design.
Yeah, they look like Beans from
Oh, I did it.
Kim Possible or
Rufus.
Rufus. That's the one.
Beans.
Beans is from Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah, that was the face I was picturing too. He does look like a naked mole rat.
It does.
As a kid,
I thought Beans was Even Stevens.
it is. Wait, what did you say?
That's Shia LaBeouf.
No,
No.
Preston, you're right. It is from
Yeah,
Even
it's
Stevens.
Even Stevens. Lizzie McGuire was
Hillary Duff. You got them confused.
Ah, dang it. I do that every time.
Honestly, I love so many of the bosses in this game. So many of them are just super sick. And unfortunately, if you only play the game once, you're not going to see them all. Reason why is unlike a traditional Soulsborne game where everything is in the map, right? And you just have to do X, Y, and Z to find these optional bosses. In Remnant, it's like procedurally generated. So the way it works is it rolls a campaign for you. And when it rolls that campaign, there are certain things that are mandatory events, but not mandatory bosses. So you could have a different boss just based on your role. So when you play through it one time, it's encouraged that you go through it again so that you can fight the different bosses. That being said, if I hadn't been in a rush to make this video and also didn't play it, when Remnant 2 was coming out, this would have been a really cool surprise. I would have probably played the game more with friends and been like, oh yeah, let's see what this reroll thing is. Let's just play through a level and get a completely different boss that I hadn't fought before. That'd have been sick. Which leads me to what I was saying earlier. It wasn't even until doing editing for this video that I found out that there are so many things in this game that are like, why would I ever know how to do that? Or try that? Or attempt anything? Which is kind of silly of me because I've played enough Soulsborne games to know that there's tomfoolery afoot. Like, I think the most obvious one that I should have at least even considered was that, much like Dark Souls or even Monster Hunter, attacking certain body parts of bosses specifically will cripple them or do some kind of damage, and it'll yield you an alternate item that you can get from that boss, and therefore an alternate weapon or weapon mod. So, let's talk about the bosses, and more specifically, the bosses that have alternate paths, ways of fighting them, things you can do, things that I just think are really sick that this game does not get enough credit for. Even when it comes to like Dark Souls level of bosses and, tricks and stuff, a lot of these are really, really sick. So one of the earliest boss fights that you can get is against a guy named Brabus, and it's a very typical Division type boss, honestly. He's like a leader of a bunch of Ravagers type thing, rebel group on Earth. He's got a big old shotgun, and he's got a bunch of dudes that are surrounding him, and he wants to kill you. Okay? When I walked in solo, I just walked in, and we fought, and that was that, right? I killed him. Pretty average boss. But what I didn't know is that if you talk to an NPC earlier in that level called Mudtooth and get an item from him, apparently Mudtooth is this guy's dad.
And this old heliocopter makes a mighty good sniper's nest.
And if you show the item to the guy, you don't even have to fight him. And in fact, he'll give you like a whole set of armor or something like that. And alternatively, if you play it in co-op, he will give you the option to kill your friend to avoid fighting him. And even that will give you an alternate item that's different from the two other options. So let's do some Blue's Clues ass math right now. Killing him, Mudtooth option, and the borderline patricide, that's not the right word, killing your friend. That's three things. That's three alternate options for one boss that's super early on, made a mundane boss into a pretty cool, unique situation, I think. All right, moving on to the next boss. Then we got the Ravager, which, pretty chaotic boss fight, right? Big old monster jumping around, trying to kill you. Guess what? There's 5 bells in the arena. What do we do with the bells, children?
Should I play them for you?
We gotta shoot the bells. Did we just shoot all the bells? No, you stupid idiot. We shoot all the bells in a specific order. That's like a lullaby for him, and it chills him out. He'll talk to you. Boss fight ends, you get an alternate item. Isn't that cool? Now on that note, I will say, and I'm very proud of this, me and my buddy were playing, and in this area there is a guy, it's like a satyr or something, and he's like playing like a little song, and he's like, you can talk to him and be like, can you teach me the song of your people? And he's like, no. And you're like, okay, I was just trying to be culturally sensitive, but all right. And we were kind of playing through the level, and we came back to it, and it just like hit me. There's a thing. We have to shoot these.
But how do we know what order to shoot them in?
I don't know. We got to listen to his song.
Oh, God.
Baxel deck may be wise, but it is not safe.
Why does he sound like Antonio Banderas?
And I just kind of sat there and listened to the song, and I don't know if I actually got the melody down or if it was just like pure coincidence, but I almost immediately shot it in the right order and got us this ring. Hey!
How the fuck did you do that?
I literally just listened to the song and just was like, I think this is the tones that are coming out. Like, these are the keys. And I guess I did it right.
No fucking shot.
Dude, that's fucking sweet. Which, though it didn't give us a trophy or anything, I didn't really care. It was just a really, really cool experience, or a cool accomplishment. And I was very proud of it. I felt really cool. I thought that I felt like I could sit at the cool lunch table with my pizza Lunchable, and people wouldn't look at me weird for Naruto running on the lunch. Next boss, Totem Father, or Demon Monkey, red guy. He's one of my favorite designs for a boss. He's really cool, and there's like a little secret thing that right before you go into the boss fight, there's a totem outside of it, and it's red or blue, and you can shoot it and change the color of it. Now, when you do that, you actually change the type of enemy that the Totem Father will spawn. So it's either like ranged or melee people. But not only that, but based on what color the totem is when you beat him, will also yield you a different item. Then you have Houndmaster and Maul.
Yep, it's a pretty fucked up looking dog.
Honestly, this boss really annoyed me. I don't get easily annoyed by boss fights in general, but this one was just annoying because he spawns. There's so many dogs, and they're really fast, and I just felt like I was running the whole time and shooting, which can happen in some of the boss fights, but it's not too bad for the most part. But what I didn't know is there's another way to handle this other than run around and shoot and just kill them all, 20v1. It turns out that there's a merchant outside who I did talk to, and I went through all this dialogue, but I just ignored it like your average Dark Souls enjoyer, and just didn't pay attention to what he was saying. But if you wade through all the Dark Souls lore, he basically tells you that you can shoot him in the face, and it gives you an item. More specifically, it gives you this control rod. But what happens is, if you shoot the Houndmaster in the face a bunch, you'll break the thing in his face, and that thing, I guess, controls the dogs. And when you do that, all the dogs are going to turn on him. So now it's not as unfair, and it makes the boss fight easier. Really cool. I didn't know that. I didn't do that. I just got annoyed. Also, the item that you get alternatively from him, you can go back outside where the merchant is, and there's like this sentinel thing on the ground. And you can put that rod in that machine, and now that's another optional boss. Only way to get it. There's not like other ways to get this item. It's the only way. So, props to whoever figured that out. And now we get to my boy, the Unclean One, or as I like to call him, the Big Bad Bayou Goblin. Gosh, he is without a doubt probably my favorite boss in the whole game. It wasn't even like a hard boss fight. It wasn't super easy. I mean, I did it on my first try, but is genuinely just a good, well-designed boss fight. What's cool about this boss fight is when you're going into his little Louisiana cabin, you can actually sneak in, go down the stairs, and hide in a jar in his basement. It's a dangerous game, I know. Hiding in jars. That man's big. We don't know what he uses those jars for. Let me know when you're ready, John. We can hop in these jars.
I'm ready.
All right. I guess this is where he keeps all his mayonnaise.
I guess so.
That's not mayonnaise.
Delicious. Why is there a Hatsune figure in here?
And then, after a little while, he'll come downstairs, and he just kind of is chilling. And then you can pop out, and then you start the boss fight in what is essentially just a bigger area. Now, why does this matter? Because beating him here gives you an alternate item. A really, really sick alternate item. Basically gives you this flail. And I'm trying to go back to the Crusader times. Maybe I shouldn't say that. It's not what I mean. I just like to swing around heavy objects. Now let's talk about a boss that a couple of my friends we're basically simping over. We got old Swamp Mommy herself.
Greetings, outsider.
There's a part in the game where you get this heart of this boss, and you can decide to give it to either the Undying King or Swamp Mommy. And originally your agreement is with the Undying King, and he's going to hook you up if you give him this thing, but it's going to kind of condemn the land of the Swamp Mommy. I didn't really know who I wanted to pick because I couldn't really tell who was good or evil. I don't really think either one of them was good. So I left it up to my friends to let me know, and quite frankly, they just basically chose Swamp Mommy because reasons.
Strong, too, by your looks. Both your presence and your strength, should the latter be available. What a shame. Your journey must end here.
Goo goo gaga. I want milk.
But ultimately, you can end up fighting her. You can fight her in this big old boss fight. 2 phases. Now, boss fight can go pretty standard, right? You beat her phase 1, you beat her phase 2. Bada bing, bada boom. You get the skooma. The alternate thing is in phase 2. You can shoot a stalactite that is above her in a certain part of the fight. And if you shoot it enough and break it, it will land on her and kill her instantly. Oh, and when it landed, That felt really good. You know what time it is, John? We must praise the gun together.
Oh, how do I do that? There we go.
Yes. This is not a thing in this game. There has never been environmental damage or environmental destruction. This has never happened, so there is no reason for me to think that it's just Dark Souls. It's just more Dark Souls bullshit, honestly.
No, she walked too far.
Oh, did she?
I think so. Yep.
Fuck off. Just fucking kill me. Do I like it? Do I think it's cool? Yes. Am I essentially just a mindless servant to From Software and their ideals? Yes. DLC. Let's talk about the DLC. More specifically, Subject 2923 or whatever it's called. Rats. Oh, man. Almost like threw my jaw out doing that. Rats. Love the DLC. Super cool. Love the environment. Really fun fights. All that stuff. But I don't know what happened. But the minute we started, literally, the second we started the DLC, there were just bugs after bugs. It started off with, we launched the DLC. I got kicked out of my game entirely. Went back to the PlayStation menu. So I load back Remnant. I hop back into my friend's game because he didn't get kicked out. There's a cutscene playing. For him, everything's normal. For me, I'm getting no dialogue. The character's not even moving his mouth, which I don't understand how that stopped happening. But I wasn't getting any dialogue. So I just got this lobotomized dude just looking at me performing magic tricks with no context. Is he just not saying anything?
No, he's talking.
Oh, for me, he's not talking, so he's just lobotomized, like, pointing and looking at the rock and just, like, moving his head around. It's
No,
really
there's a real cutscene that's happening.
Oh. He just put his hands on it, looked at you, and disappeared. And then the cutscene ends, and wouldn't you know it, my friend then gets kicked out of his game.
Oh, and my game crashed.
No shit. Yeah. People will just start walking into the sky. What is happening? Where you going, bud? Okay. Alright, let's try this again. I get kicked out again because he got kicked. So he opens the game back up. I join him. And then this happens. What the fuck is happening? Oh no. Things are getting weird.
Are you in my game right now?
I'm trying to join,
Oh,
but
there you are. You're behind me.
Told me you found Ward Prom.
Why are you in the ground
Been a while
T-posing?
since I
Oh no, that's Ford.
place.
Oh, well, it's
What
a
is
cutscene.
happening? Oh,
It was
okay.
a cutscene that's playing, and the animators. What the fuck is happening? Why is the camera rotating like that?
I mean, helping.
Are you seeing this?
No, because I'm not in the cutscene. I just see.
No, you are. You are totally 100% in my cutscene right now.
No, what I'm saying is, he just keeps looking at both of us and then positioning his body.
No, and the camera is like positioning himself depending on who he's looking at.
Can you please?
It just keeps swinging back and forth.
Can you please fucking clip it?
Yes.
I'm gonna need that. Now, granted, everything kind of calmed down for the most part after this, but there were still a few instances of tomfoolery. Now, you beat the entire story, right? And you beat the DLC. What else is there to do? Well, you got this fun survival mode, right? Where you can just go in a party of 3 and go through randomly generated worlds and buy and find weapons and armor and mods and all this stuff. It basically makes it's Remnant if it was a roguelike. Really cool idea for replayability purposes, right? Super fun. This adds a lot of replayability to the game. What do you get from this, though? Really, the only thing you do get from this, outside of like trophies and stuff, is you get this material that allows you to get alternate skins for your armor. That's pretty much it. Maybe there's a couple items, but yeah. But you already went through the campaign. You already went through the DLC. You went and you re-rolled those campaigns, and you beat all the bosses, and you got all the items from there, right? What do you have to do now? Nothing. You really don't have anything to do. It's fun. It's a fun game, but is there a real reason to play? Because Remnant 2's out now. Should I just go play Remnant 2? Yeah. But that being said, if I was playing this game as it came out, when it first came out and as the DLCs were coming out, I'd be stoked. I would have played it a lot. But I played it, literally when Remnant 2 was coming out. So what can I say? My hopes for Remnant 2 are super high. I'm really looking forward to playing it. I think the concept of a roguelike in a Soulsborne-esque game is really cool, and I think it adds a lot of replayability to it. Yeah. So I don't really know what the point of this video was, to be honest. I just wanted to talk about this game. Thought it was pretty cool. Hope you had a good time. If you did, if you stayed until the end of the video, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And check out some other stuff. I plan on doing more videos like this, and yeah. Like, comment, subscribe. In fact, if you're gonna comment, I'm gonna leave you with my favorite item in all of Remnant. And all I want you to comment is slime vessel. Thank you. Have a good day.
This is it?
Yeah.
Dude.
Holy shit. Oh my
That's
gosh.
That's like what Lee looked like.
It fucking kills me that I stand still for so long and then my body just starts twitching and looking at you, and then it just goes everywhere. I need to save this fucking clip. Oh my gosh.
Please do.